one of the top cornerbacks in the game today in his 5th year, now entering his 6th year in the National Football League, out of UCF. Good to see you, AJ Bouye. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. So just for all of my colleagues in the NFL media, can you say your name? Because I think it's the most mispronounced name in the National Football League.
Bouye.
Bouye.
Yes, sir.
What's the worst botching you've heard of it?
Bouye, 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 Bougie.
Bougie.
Exactly. So I had to hear
Bad and bougie.
I had to hear
AJ
bad
Bougie.
and, bad and bougie.
Bougie and bougie.
That's not bad.
I don't know where they got that from. I didn't know why it was sounded like a J, but
Okay.
somewhere.
AJ Booyah?
I've heard that one before.
Okay, that's a good one. So AJ Booyah of the Jacksonville Jaguars here on the Rich Eisen Show.
Right, seriously.
You've heard Jaguar too, right? You've heard that?
Jaguar. Yeah. It's
Okay.
There's no W.
I don't know where that came
don't get
from. Okay, so AJ Bouye here on the Rich Eisen Show. I love watching you guys play football. I love it.
yeah.
How would you describe Jacksonville Jaguar football?
We got a lot of grit. You know, Coach Coughlin, Coach Marone, they always talk about it, just grit. Especially in the back end and on defense, we have a lot of playmakers. And one thing we try to do, we try to put on the show, especially for the fans. Towards the end of the season, especially in a playoff game against Buffalo, we had a sold-out game. They removed the tarps, and the energy was just amazing. And that's one thing that we definitely want to get going into next year. And then we got more weapons. We just got a guard. Moncrief, I played against him for the past 4 years. He's definitely slept on. So I'm definitely looking forward to the future.
It's interesting. Now, I'm truly not trying to stir anything up, but the first coach's name you mentioned was Coughlin. And so much of what we talk about in the national media about Jacksonville as you guys were making your run was talking about how Coughlin had changed things coming in. What did he change? Best you could tell. I know.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I came in.
You came
so
with it.
So it was a little different, but they just said that the way they approached it, it was the main message that Coughlin told me when I first signed there was just showing these guys, how to be a pro. And, I believe that we did that as far as me, Barry Church, and definitely Calais. Calais had a big part to do with it. He's a vet in the game. The way he approached it, same mindset every day. And you could just see it starting to rub off on all the younger guys. And the approach that we had, we was looking forward to the conditioning. We was looking forward to competing against each other, whether also Tampa came in and practiced against us. We was just always trying to find ways to get better, weight room, meeting rooms, even off the field, outside of the stadium. So just bring that approach started in camp, really in OTAs, and it just helped us a lot. And just to see how far we went and how hard it took to get there, we're looking forward to this offseason and getting back together.
And how much was Coughlin around? How much contact you have with him?
He's everywhere, but he doesn't talk. But he's there. You know exactly where he's going to sit.
What do you mean?
When we go in the team meeting room, he's right there hitting us on the leg, like, there we go, pay attention, all that. We just knew he was there, but he wasn't saying much. Coach Marone was communicating everything, and he's done a great job with us. He kept everybody together, and we just stayed, it's like a tight-knit group, and it was just starting to show throughout the season.
So, what time was your meeting on average?
Our meeting was, I'll say, towards the middle of the season. It started getting at 7:30 or 8 o'clock, but we had to be there 5 minutes earlier. Yeah, you probably hear that a lot.
Where was going? Come on.
You already know, but
So meeting 7:30, you had to walk in at 7:25?
Yeah, but here's the thing, and it was different because I went to UCF and I had Coach O'Leary, so him and Coach O'Leary were close.
Okay.
And Coach O'Leary say be there 15 minutes early, but what Coach Coughlin will do, he'll move the clocks back. So he'll move them 5 minutes back and everything like that. So the only time that there was an actual time was during game days when we was at the stadium. So we didn't know if we still had to be there 5 minutes early or not, and we're just rushing, running, and we're on time, but we're not on time, and we're not trying to get a fine. So,
well, I'll share with you one of my favorite stories of having worked at the NFL Network since its inception in 2003, and easily one of the most awkward moments I've ever had off camera was I was at an owners meeting in Hawaii. Okay, off time. My show's done, all done. It was off time, right in the middle of the afternoon, and I'm getting a massage. Gonna get ready for a massage, I'm gonna treat myself. And there I am in the spa waiting room, with the music and the bonsai tree and the fountains and all that business and the GQ magazines I'm thumbing through. And who's coming in for his massage in a terry cloth bathrobe? Tom Coughlin. And it's just me and Tom sitting in this waiting room. And it's, hey, Tom, how are you, Coach? How are you, Rich? Nothing. We don't say anything. And he goes, so what time's your massage? And I'm like, well, it's coming up in about 5 minutes. And he looks at the clock. He goes, mine's like right now. I got to go to the desk right now and find out where this person is. And I'm like, the masseuse or masseur was not on Coughlin time. And I just wish there was somebody else in the room to actually have witnessed it.
You gotta love it.
And I felt bad for whoever was at the spa front desk.
No, I mean, people think he's I'm not gonna say he is a hard-nosed guy and everything, but the more you know what he does, especially for the city with his foundation and everything, you just have a lot of respect for him.
He's got a big heart.
Definitely. I could definitely agree with that.
He really does. So how do I reset? AJ Bouye of the Jacksonville Jaguars?
Yes.
Or we'll just call you by your real name. AJ Bouye of the Jacksonville Jaguars here on the Rich Eisen Show. Let's get into this now here, because everybody looks at what you did and what you did this year and says, essentially, you can't do it again because of your quarterback. How do you respond to that?
That's for them to, we're tuning out the noise. That's one thing that we did last year. And especially the route that I took from an individual standpoint. I was undrafted. A lot of people said I wasn't going to be in the league long. Every player looks into stuff like that, the criticism and everything like that, and we use it as motivation. So for people to say that, we love to prove them wrong. It's just that extra motivation that's going to get us to where we want to get to.
Well, I mean, how he was just, extended, re-signed, or however you want to put it, it was labeled by many as a mistake. By the way, not here. I've called Blake Bortles the maker of stars and remover of tarps. First of his name of House Bortles, Blake Bortles. And so how do you feel about him in that locker room?
He's starting to be a pro. I was talking to him towards the end of the season, about some books I was reading. We went to college together, so I'm definitely rooting for him. And I want to say Buffalo, even in the playoffs, especially against the Steelers and the Patriots, he carried his weight against the two best quarterbacks in the AFC. And when you see that, that's great things for the future. And then from an individual standpoint, I never try to put the defense on it, but from my standpoint, I have to do a better job of finishing, just not to put him in that situation. So I'm excited. He has a strong arm. He can run. He's athletic. He's going to be healthy coming into it, and we're definitely looking forward to it.
Well, there's two things that I just picked up on right there that you said. I just want to hit a couple of them. You said starting to be a pro. What can you let me in on that and everybody in on that? What do you mean by starting to be a pro?
Well, he was, when I was playing against him, you could see his body language and the way he was acting, especially the quote-unquote bad year that he had. But, ever since I came and I signed, he was in the training room doing the same movement prep, everything like that, making sure that his body was right. He was taking care of himself, watching extra film. He was with Chad Henne. They was talking football, and you could just see everything he was doing. He wanted to win. He wanted to be the best player he can for the team. And, our GM Caldwell did a great job, bringing me, Barry, Calais, and the other guys. So we know he made the right decision when it came to getting Blake. And you see why the team always had his back, because he started to show, especially in the playoffs, what he's capable of.
And when you said books that you wanted to share with him, walk me through that. Which books?
It was called Relentless. It's one of the books I read every offseason just from a mindset standpoint, and it's a great book. And
what do you like about it? And why do you think it might have been pertinent for him to read that?
Well, because you always gonna have people that's gonna doubt you, but you can't pay attention to that. You just gotta focus on the positive and just always stay relentless. No matter what happens, you can't just stay down. You gotta keep pushing. And sometimes we had that dark side in us, but we use it as motivation. So one practice we was warming up, and Blake was like, "Dark side, baby," and I was like, "Yeah, you've been reading." So
okay,
I'm proud of Blake. He deserves everything he got, and I'm just looking forward to the future with him.
And it's written by Jalen Ramsey. Is that Jalen? Did he write that book?
That's not written.
No.
If Jalen wrote a book, it'll just be straight sayings, straight facts. You tell me all that. So you know how that goes.
Yeah, the new book by Jalen Ramsey. He's gonna join us later on this week, called "F Off." I'm the man. Right?
What y'all got against him, man?
We sat in front of him in honors.
I love that guy.
He was great.
Yes, he sat right behind us at NFL honors, and I was just talking about it earlier in the show with the Jets with Jamal Adams. You need to have somebody in the locker room who talks and walks the walk, and you pick up what they are putting down, and you need to match the intensity. And I want somebody in my locker room for whom football means so much. You could see it.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. You could see it. You could feel it. You could, and obviously I was just joking in that regard. He does need to, in a way, just turn it down from 12 to 11 before he gets it down to 10 in a way.
I mean, you ever thought that he probably used that on purpose, though? It just makes him play that much better.
And it's working.
Exactly. So, and I said it before, the things that he say, a lot of us want to say, but he has a platform. He's a person that does it, and we always have his back no matter what. And, it just shows you the type of person he is. He hates to lose. He wants to win, and you never want to let him down. And I could say no matter what goes on between teammates in the locker room and everything, one thing that we don't want to do is let each other down, and that shows. It
does. I want to talk a little bit more with A.J. Bouye here of the Jacksonville Jaguars. It is how many seconds left in that one there, Brock? But it's 69-67, Rhode Island by 2 right now?
55 seconds left. Ooh. Rhode Island up 2.
And the Penn Quakers have a 5-point lead on Kansas with 7 minutes into the game.
It must be March. Kansas is choking.
Oh, stop it. Come on, man. They're playing the Ivy League, which they slow it down, and they are efficient, fundamentally sound.
How far
you
got Kansas going?
I don't even want to know.
Elite 8. I
have them Elite 8.
Yeah,
do you have a bracket?
I didn't have time to make a bracket.
Okay.
You want to get in on ours, AJ, real quick?
He can. We can try to figure it out.
I am pulling for Colin Sexton though. Yeah, I'm a big fan of his.
Okay.
And it ain't over yet, but they've been giving Trae Young a hard time. So.
All right, I know that. So I also want to hit. You've got basketball in your family. Brockman, do you know who this guy's cousin is? You root for him every single damn time the Celtics take the floor. That's coming up next with A.J. Bouye of the Jacksonville Jaguars here on the Rich Eisen Show. A.J. Bouye of the Jacksonville Jaguars, another segment with you. Good to appreciate you sticking around. This update from our poll question brought to you by Farmers Insurance. When you're dealing with life's up and downs, it helps to know the ins and outs of insurance. Let Farmers share with you practical knowledge gained from more than 90 years of experience. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two. Find an agent at farmers.com. Give us the poll question results as they stand right now, middle of hour number 3. Chris.
Yeah, guys, what's the best sports weekend of the year? We'll start at the bottom. 9% Cinco de Mayo weekend. I'm shocked this is not winning. NBA, NHL playoffs, big fight weekend, and Kentucky Derby. How does that only have 9%? 21% March Madness opening rounds. This weekend we got right now. 22% Masters weekend and MLB opening day. And 49% football is king, boys. NFL divisional round weekend.
What would you say to that answer?
I'll say NFL divisional round. I just for the simple fact, even
if you're not playing in it?
Oh, we plan on playing in it. While I'm here, so.
Remove yourself from the playing. Put yourself on a couch.
I'm not going to lie. What was it, my rookie year when they had the divisional round? It's just, every game is going to be aired. The whole world's watching. So, prime time, you put on the show. And that's one thing that we was looking forward to this year. We didn't have any primetime game, nighttime games or anything. So this was our opportunity to show what we were as a team, especially against Buffalo. And it was packed. You knew it was just time to go. You knew everybody was watching. And, our game just rose that much better. A.J.
Bouye here on the Rich Eisen Show. How come you had the Steelers' number? What do you think? See something on film about Big Ben that you guys were able to pick up?
Man, I've been – before I even signed with Jacksonville, I try to watch film, especially of myself, but, all the top corners, and I just watched who they matched up against. And, a lot of people was having problems with AB, and it came to a conclusion with me. It was you got to outscore them, but you got to play good defense, and you got to just create turnovers, and that's what we did. Because at the end of the day, they're going to put up points. They was putting up points even though we had a big lead the first time we played them. But the second game, we had a big lead, but I think Ben threw for 500 yards. So we still was fortunate enough for, our offense to put up a lot of points. But that's the type of game that you're going to have with Pittsburgh. It's a shootout. They're always going to put up points with all the weapons they have, but you just got to capitalize. And that's one thing we did. We capitalized on the turnovers.
Yeah, and Leonard Fournette just seemed to have a day. What'd you pick up from him when you first met him, Leonard Fournette?
He wants to be great. You could tell.
So what happened with picture day?
I thought he was excused.
Did you?
I thought he was excused, but I don't know exactly what happened. I didn't even at first notice that he missed it, but he couldn't play that weekend. And
Do you think he learned something from that?
Oh, definitely. Everything that Leonard does is not. He's not a me guy. It's not always about him. You see that he does a lot of things for the O-line, for his teammates, and he just jokes around in the locker room a lot when it just be like me, him, Jalen, and TJ Yeldon. He's a good guy, and that's one thing about our team. Like, you can really see that we have good character people on our team.
Mm-hmm. And let's get to the AFC Championship game. Why are you shaking your head?
Man, when I'm training, that's all I think about. I never try to put blame on anybody or anything, and I just try to focus on what I could do better. I've been watching film, especially of that second half, seeing how could I put myself in a better position, even with whatever we were playing or even on the plays that I had. And when you go to the Pro Bowl, when somebody don't really know who you are and all they want to tell you is, man, that wasn't a flag. That's the first thing. That's what I'm being known for, not known for the great numbers I put up this year, the 6 interceptions, all this. I'm known for the guy who had a BSPI call. And I'm not taking nothing away from the refs. You got to see it from their point of view. But it was a tough game, man, and we were that close.
Now, you're referring to the end of the first half?
Yeah, definitely, on that play. But
against Brandon Cooks?
Yeah. But just in general, even when we had the lead, they started with the coverage we was running. There was times I could have played more aggressive, even while I was off. And I was just trying to protect over top because I had to read 1 and 2. But when you watch the film, especially me, and I was just critiquing, I was like, man, I could have done this better. And I started working on that while I'm training. I got back to it right after the Pro Bowl. Like, when you're that close, you know how hard it is to get there. You get that much hungry, and that's why I'm kind of – it was a setback, but I'm definitely looking forward to playing them this year.
Competition committee, A.J. Bouye of the Jacksonville Jaguars, supposedly considering making a defensive pass interference a 15-yard penalty like back in your day at UCF. Would you be for that?
I don't have a problem with it. At the end of the day, you can see that, if somebody's getting beat and they hold them now, it's like 15-yard penalty. But at the end of the day, I look at it like that's just more opportunities for us as DBs to make plays. I didn't have a problem the way it was now. It just means you got to be that much better with your technique. But, they're starting to see that, it's not just about offense. We have some ballers on the defense all throughout the league, and we're just trying to make plays too.
Well, how would it change? How if they make DPI, defensive pass interference, 15 yards as opposed to spot foul? How?
I think they'll start calling more flags though, just because they know it's going to be 15 yards. Because when a corner's beat, they're probably going to look to grab now. Like, even if they're beat, they're just reaching out to slow them down. So at the end of the day, that's always the motto with a DB. If you beat, especially in college, it was if you beat, grab them. Just don't let them pass you. I mean, we're not trying to give up points. That's the objective of football. Get up, put up points. Defense, make sure we don't put them up.
What do you think of the catch rule as it currently stands?
That's tough, man. For the simple fact, when Ertz caught that touchdown in the Super Bowl, and was it Collinsworth? He kept saying like that shouldn't be a catch. I'm like, he ran on his own. He fell. He dove for it, but then everybody's trying to compare it to the Jesse James one in Pittsburgh, and I felt it was a little iffy either way it went, and you can't make anybody happy. There's one person that's rooting for this team. There's one person rooting for that team. Either way it goes, somebody's going to say it's not a catch. So
I thought the Ertz catch was a catch. Because I was in the stadium, I did not hear the broadcast. Okay, I thought Jesse James was a catch too, and should be, because he had one knee down and was able to turn his torso over the end zone, and he broke the plane. He should have been a runner the minute that his knee hit the ground and he wasn't touched.
I felt like, just because he reached out, it should have been called, like, as far as a touchdown, because he reached out to break the plane.
And you're fine as a cornerback in this league if that would be the rule?
Yeah, because at the end of the day, we try to play the ball to the ground, but we understand certain situations. If you break the plane before you hit the ground, that's understandable. And then that always goes back to the Dez Bryant catch. He caught it, stumbled, and you could tell that he was trying to reach out for the pile-line, and it fell, and that's where all this got started, I believe, really, or the Calvin Johnson catch. So it's tough, man.
That's crazy.
It's tough, and we ask a lot, especially as fans and everything. We ask a lot of the refs and even players, but you got to look at it from their view. And now that we have the replay to see everything, it's a little bit tougher. But it's tough either way it goes. It's tough calls, but you got to live with them and just play the next down.
Couple more minutes with you, A.J. Bouye of the Jacksonville Jaguars. You said you went to, you were teammates at UCF with Blake Bortles.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how tight-knit a group you all aren't, UCF alums, but do you know the Griffin kids? Do you know them?
Crazy thing, I was training when I went back to UCF before the start of last year, and we was over here talking trash with Shaquille, talking trash with Shaquem over here, trying to say who had the better DBs while we was there. And I knew what Shaquem was capable of. I know what his brother Shaquille did. I thought he was going to run a 4.4, but just for him to run that 4.3, it just shows, those are track guys, and he's a hungry guy. And we could learn a lot from him. He's not letting what happened with his hand hold him back.
So what do you think he could do in the NFL?
He could do great things, not only on special teams, but definitely on defense. He's a baller. One thing about it, I feel like UCF has always been slept on. We've beaten Baylor when Blake was there. They beat Auburn. We've beaten big teams. When I was there, we beat UGA. And I guess we just never considered a big school, but never considered a small school. We never get the respect. But he's going to do some great things in the league. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing Shaquem and playing against him.
And Richard Sherman said if he's not drafted in the first 2 days, first 3 rounds, the system's broken. Would you agree with that?
Well, we're not going to talk about how the system's broken because he's going to get drafted first or second day, so we don't have to worry about that. But that's just really Richard letting him know that this guy can play. And when you cut on the film and see what he did, especially against Auburn, you know he can play.
All right, last one for you. Tell that Boston Celtic fan who your cousin is.
Oh, Jalen Brown.
Jalen Brown, yeah, I know.
That's his brother over there, Quinn. So, yeah.
Jalen Brown. How's he doing?
Hey,
concussion.
Celtics winning it all this year.
Did we just
That's what I'm saying.
Celtics going to win it all?
Celtics winning it all this year. Just know that.
There's a Harden, there's a Curry, there's a...
He stirred it up, though, saying he was rooting for you guys.
Hey, there's a
in
Kyrie.
in the playoffs.
Like you said, there's a Kyrie. So that team's going all the way. I'm going to be there, too, front row.
You will be, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, well, I guess there's no NBA team in Jacksonville, but there's definitely a football team in Boston that Jalen Brown was all stirring it up against.
Yeah, exactly.
So what's your game like?
As far as
hoops,
man, I played point. I had a little bit of a jump shot. I ain't shooting the 3 though, but my dad always had me playing defense. I was more focused on defense because it was going to help me with football because I knew I was going to play corner. So
all right.
I just played basketball because I loved it. But my first love was baseball. So
who's the best basketball player on the Jaguars? Would Jalen Ramsey say he is?
Of course he's going to say he is.
But is he?
All he does is drive and dunk. That's it. I mean,
that's a pretty good strategy.
I mean, when you play,
by the way, what a shock that would be his style on the hoops court.
When you play at LA Fitness, I mean, that's all you need. Right. But I try to see. I haven't hooped with everybody yet. I know.
Great.
I heard Gibson got a good game. I like guys who got like an all-around game. Like you could tell they know ball.
Hey, when a dunk's worth 3 points, that's when I start doing it.
Nice. Good one. Hey, great meeting you. I've really, like I said, have enjoyed watching you from afar and your teammates. Good luck to you. Don't be a stranger. Anytime you're in LA, let's chat throughout the season.
I'm gonna train with you. You never told me where you train for your 40.
I don't.
You don't?
No.
So I just don't need to train.
No. Well, I mean,
because you broke the 6 seconds.
I did.
You in the 5s.
I did. My wife says and that guy over there, Brockman, says I should just buckle down. Kenny Stills told me he wants to train me, and that I need to do it 4 months before I run. Start.
There you go. We're going to get you in the 5.5s.
That would be, by the way, that would be incredible.
Week 8. Let's start going.
All right. We're getting Team Eisen together. Slowly but
Starting
surely.
week 8, building up to April.
AJ, great to see you.
Thank you.
You bet. AJ Bouye here on The Rich Eisen Show.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.